Welcome to game number 2 of 5 Men versus Nigma. 5 Men, of course, took the first game of the series with powerful style. And we're already a bit of the ways through the draft. Unfortunately, sometimes I just can't load into the draft early, so we're just going to have to deal with it. I hope that new change in the music wasn't too bad or anything. We're up in the production value midstream, everyone. As we now have game 2 already, carries being picked out, first and second pick, respectively, for Nigma and 5 Men. We see Nigma will pick up the Faceless Void and the Magnus for themselves. Meanwhile, 5 Men will take the Phoenix and the Spectre. I've got to say, the one thing I love about Pro Dota is the difference in these bands. You know, it feels like a totally different ballpark sometimes. We have the IO ban. You know, we have the Bat Rider ban. On the other side, we have the Mars Lone Druid ban. Not surprised at all. See that Lone Druid ban? It isn't a special. And now Chessie's being targeted hard in this second phase of bans, with both the Zeus and the Void Spirit ban. And one thing that we have to keep in mind is this is Nigma's potential elimination from the tournament, as they are one game away from being out of it, and this would be quite the upset for 5 Men. A team that is very eager. They're not afraid to play their specialties in order to win it. Nigma know this and ban out the heroes. Let's see if Nigma can bounce back. Obviously, you know, when I talk about some of these 80-12 teams, I talk a lot about the mentality of losing the first game. Especially in a game like 5 Men's, where they just kind of were in control the whole game. But obviously, a team like Nigma, they're not going to fall prey to that. These guys are all exceptionally experienced here. And I hate to say it, I gotta bring it up though, but even at the highest level of Dota, with 5 Men here, their flag cut in half. Make me wanna cry. Enigma, they're taking a real long time on this final ban. They'll remove the Nature's Prophet. That was a lot of their reserve time spent. Now we'll have to see what 5 Men will choose as their final ban. Unlike Nigma, they've been much more open with their bans, kind of banning out a mid, a support. The Snapfire ban, very warranted into Phoenix, in my opinion, so no real surprises there. But on the flip side, now you've got an opportunity to remove the mids of Weehaw, if they so desire. They're spending their time too on this ban. They'll take out the Lina, so they do ban out a Weehaw hero. Now it's going to be interesting where we see this Magnus get put into this game. It's still very open. I've seen some 3, but I feel like at the pro levels, at this stage, it's likely to be that 5 Magnus. Seems the most common, works well with Void, gives him a free farming item. 5 Men. They will have the first pick of the round, though. However, they do have overall last pick, which I think they'll be very happy with. And they'll pick up the Big Red Man, the Axe Hero, a hero that we haven't seen too much of, but, you know, always feels kind of good. You know, you get a big call with the Phoenix. You're always happy, man. It's like a low cooldown RP.
5 seconds.
Oh boy. I'm just now seeing your message, Alex. Yeah. I've been casting a lot, man. It's been a good time. Been a good time indeed. Fortunately, mostly been when you are asleep due to your Britishness. Very unfortunate. Nigma now in the third phase of their pick. As they will pick up the Witch Doctor. One of definitely the top 3 supports, or top 3 position 5s in my opinion. That pushes this Magnus towards a core role. 5 men will respond with that Jibei Venomancer. Which is not too surprising, if I'm being honest. It's one of those silent killers, and last game he did a lot of work on the hero, just by forcing those lanes down, putting his team into a good position, so not at all surprised to see them pick him up once more. Nigma burning through all of their reserve time in the second phase. They'll take the Rubik. So this is definitely a core Magnus at this point. Whether or not it's a 2 or a 3 will be left to the final round of picks here. Now, Chessie, this has got a pretty interesting hero pool, as I recall. I haven't seen, I'm not super familiar with Chessie. I've seen quite a few 5-man games, but not quite all of them by any means. It's going to be interesting to see what we get out of it. Will we get the classic Chessie Invoker? We'll just have to wait and see. The Meepo banned out. Obviously a very good cheese player as well, if I do say so. He's known for his brood, but you're probably not going to run a brood into the Magnus, so just removing that cheese is a very solid decision from Nigma. You never want to lose a game 2 to a cheese. But they'll ban the brood anyways, actually, so they don't want any cheese coming out. 5 men will ban out the Ricky. The classic Rickamaru. Bit interesting. I feel like it would be a little strange to see a Ricky mid. Perhaps Nigma run in the past, but I personally haven't seen it. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to catch a whole lot of this tournament, so the tournament meta is a little bit lost on me, I'm afraid. Nigma will pick We Up the Invoker, though, so that does push this Magnus into the 3, Mind Control to play it. But now 5 men, they get to elect what they're going to pick for their final hero, and what will they choose? What is going to win them this game? This is always a 5-man special, the 10th pick. And they have plenty of time to consider what they will use. They're using their reserve time, thinking it through. Looking at the pool myself, looking at those sort of cheesier heroes. Timber Saw, the main one that comes to mind, doesn't feel like an amazing Timber game this game. Perhaps they'll go for something a bit more traditional, and I think they may have even been looking for that Invoker, but unfortunately got it stolen. The Nature's Prophet's also banned out. We may see perhaps a Tiny or a Puck. I know he plays a bunch of that hero. Of those heroes as well, or even a Quap, but the Tiny seems like it might be powerful. Lots of good burst damage, and they'll take the Puck instead. A solid amount of team fight to add to their lineup, and Not really surprising at all. Now we just have to wait for the confirmation. I am certain it is going to be a mind control Magnus, but maybe I am you're gonna do something weird. Nope, mind control Magnus. Misery on the X. So nothing too surprising in this game at all. At least in terms of the pickups for what heroes are playing, what lanes. But overall, gotta say, I like this draft from Nigma a lot more than the last one. The Spectre factor is pretty terrifying. Rubik and RMN, well, Rubik and Witch Doctor, I should say, both very susceptible to the Spectre. And that Blink Dagger Interrupt on Mind Control could be very powerful. As well, Egg is a little bit hard to get on top of this game between Misery and Chessie. So, Pilot Eye could have a very good Phoenix game. I'll have to wait and see how it plays out here, though, as the strategy time winds down. My ultimate terror, as the caster, is running out of this strategy time. Because sometimes in solo casts, you know, I feel like you run out of stuff to talk about. Don't have that person to bounce ideas off of and really flesh out those thoughts. But that is just fine. Because we've gotten through it once again. Could this be the final match for Nigma in this tournament as it defaults the directed camera once again? And I have to hit my button once again. Let me check something. Okay. In a real quick.
An ephemeral masterpiece.
Oh, I've forgotten the command already, guys. Give me just 1 second. This is exceptionally professional, I know. But this is what we do, is we update this stuff on the fly. Okay, it did reset. Much better. Now we can actually zoom out and see fights take place. And I will have to update my config. That's fine, just another thing for me to do in between the matches. Seeing fairly standard lanes coming out. Gonna be the Misery Jibbe lane up top, down bottom. You're gonna see the Phoenix Spectre lane. And actually, it's gonna be RMN. Once again, playing in this bot lane. So, a little bit surprising. Usually we see the Rubik 4 with the RMN 5, and never mind, he's walking up top. Just as I speak, I am proven incorrect. But that's okay, he'll get up there pretty quickly, just a little bit behind the first wave. But actually, Axe will see that there's no RMN in this lane. But will they go aggressive onto Weehaw in the top lane? Wait a second. I lied. It's not standard. We got a Miracle in the bot lane. We got Mind Control playing the mid Magnus. We got a wild game on our hands. So this mid lane, I think, should probably have both of these heroes farming just fine. Chessie will obviously have just fine abilities to pick up CS, as does Mind Control. Mind Control might honestly come out a little bit ahead from his more proficiency in jungling from the Magnus hero. I'm interested in this bot lane. This bot lane could be a key decider for the game as a whole. Because whichever carry gets off to a good start, it's going to look very good in this mid to late game. Miracle does have good catch-up potential from his Magnus. He has to be careful as the range creep gets denied and he takes a big chunk of damage. We'll have the salve, so just some minor harass being traded out as Jibbe. A lot of damage from that Maledict, but he'll be just fine. He will also salve up. Despite the bloodshed that we're seeing, there will not be any actual bloodshed just yet. As down bottom, Highlight Eye taking a big chunk of damage. Now he also has a salve. So does GH though, and he does not have a salve, but Highlight Eye has to be very careful. Only has the Fire Spirits. Miracle is actually going under the tower and will get the bash, but not going to secure the kill. And with that, the salve will come out. Highlight Eye be just fine. Miracle. Taking big chunks of damage. He is almost out of regen, so you hate to see that. GH doing a little bit better on his side. We'll have enough tangos. Probably wanting to give over to Miracle as well. Yep, gives it over just then. Keep his buddy in this lane, but I think it's kind of scary for Nigma, because Ace is going to have a really good time here. And so this is actually Misery 4X, I'm now realizing. Which is interesting to see, and I wonder how it's going to play out. It's just all these branches on Jibe. It's a lot of efficient stat buy. As the dogs in the background are angry, I apologize if you can hear that. Probably shouldn't be able to, but you never know. So the one advantage to this laning situation is that Weeha's going to get these points in Quas, and Jive might struggle to pin him down, as he does get gone on here. Misery will take out Wee's courier. Wondering if that's going to be enough. Don't think so, as it is only a level 1 Maledict. Chessie forced to salve, and down bottom, GH is actually in a lot of trouble. Will be forced to TP out and will therefore not give up the first blood. Highlight Eye's courier, it looks like it's in a bit of danger, but it too shall live. And poor Jibe, poor Misery, they're really struggling in this lane, as that might be enough to pop. I think it is. The tango's out, the heals are there, but that's not going to be enough. And that's first blood going over to RMN. This laning situation going very, very well for Nigma. As the Faceless Void is trading pretty evenly with Ace. Now they have a kill in the top lane. The one disadvantage, Wee's actual CS is a little bit low. But I guess when you do compare that to Jibe's CS, it is more even. So if you think of him as an offlaner, not nearly as bad. EH. Ooh, the ranged creep last hit will be there for Ace. See? Chessie taking quite a few tower hits. Actually, it looks like he is going to go for this bounty rune. Has to be careful. Will actually pop the ultimate. I'm not sure if that was strictly necessary. But that'll secure it for him. That'll secure 3 bounty runes for the side of 5 men. Does put the Dream Coil on to cooldown, unfortunately. But yeah, overall a pretty even laning phase so far. Seeing very similar numbers. All the heroes. Look at this. Highlight Eye and Ace are unafraid. Dealing good damage into Miracle. He will time walk off most of it though. Look at Misery just in the backline, just not letting this game happen. It has a Wraith Band now. Going into an urn once again. Starting to get those levels. Not sure about that scan. Maybe Ace was hidden in the tree. Now Ace will get the last hit that he needs. But this Invis mind control might be in a bit of trouble. I'm surprised they're not going for him, as Misery's in the area too. Looks like instead they're looking for potentially the more important kill onto Miracle. A good silence could do quite a lot, but Highlight Eye might die a little bit too soon. No, he will survive, and now it's dangerous. As I say that, Ace gets triple bashed up. They'll take out the Rubik, I do imagine, or will they? This gang's just going so poorly for 5 minutes. RMN rotates in. Chessie is forced to leave. And yeah, that's a pretty disastrous yank. I think Chessie may have been better off if he had stayed and looked for the kill onto Mind Control, a tanky target, but he did have the Axe, who doesn't have a point in call, so disregard my statement, as Misery has just moved into jungling. So now we have a solo lane of Wii versus Jibe, both of them farming just fine, although clearly Jibe starting to get the advantage as he gets these points in the Plague Ward. Makes it much harder to last hit for Weehaw, as the denies are freely available, as we see there. He does get a lasted onto a ward. He does have that going for him. But Axe is returned. Misery is just going to put the Battle Hunger onto him and stand proud. Bottom is turning into a tri-lane, it would seem. Perhaps it was just Mind Control stopping off to put the Empower onto Miracle. Miracle now has a Battlefield. Does a lot of damage into Ace. And I'm a little bit concerned about this Axe. My one fear is I'm not quite sure what he's going to do in this mid to late game here. He TP's bottom. A Chronosphere does come out, and actually, it looks like they will get a kill on a Miracle. He does manage to time walk away, but he is certainly going to fall now with that Battle Hunger. But RMN gets good damage in onto Ace. Ace has one more tick left, and I don't think he'll survive it. He will actually drop before RMN. So, both supports and both carries die for both teams. So, I guess it's a pretty even trade, I do imagine. As we get into the 9-minute mark here, and Faceless Void decides he's done with the bot lane. He's going to go mid. He's going to give Mind Control the bottle, refill, and then he's going to get himself the Empower. Because actually, Pilot Eye has to be a bit careful as smoke comes out from Mind Control and RMN. Mind Control, obviously, level 8 due to the fact that he is in this mid lane. Jibe has to be careful. He's in a very gankable position. Trying to farm up these camps, but I don't think you're going to get out of this one, Chief, as they commit the RP. And Mind Control decides that he will not give Weed that kill and pushes him out of the Tornado Ring. In response, though, look at Misery, man. Just forcing Miracle to play a little bit of a strange game of Dota that he may not want to bash, though. Is there. 9 minutes, 50 seconds. Setups for the bounties are coming in. Chessie is spotted under a ward. He will indeed get that one, but oh no, he's gone straight out into Mind Control. And he has that Maledict on him, but Mind Control is leashed up. The Phoenix is here and will pop the egg, so Mind Control forced to run away. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, we do have a bit of an engage. As, oh no, Chessie, you're going to go down to RMN. Mind Control gets the deny to the Roshan. And RMN will be the only casualty that gives gold. And that's not quite what you want out of your first haunt of the game, as Ace is going for the fast blade mail. Just played a pub and I questioned my friend on his building of the first item blade mail, and I guess I was wrong. It would seem it is a good item. Not to worry though. As Miracle going to pop the Chronosphere, does have the team behind him. No blink available for Miracle. But Ace, it's not looking too good, although he does manage to get into the trees. Mind Control will stop the Sunray, but Ace will be just fine. Puts the salve into his inventory. He's going to salve up. He's going to be full HP. Looks like there may be a dagger in from GH, and they've actually found Ace. He's stuck in the trees. He's forced to dagger once again. The lift comes up, and Ace has to be very careful. But an excellent juke, and he will get out. So ultimately, a big commitment. The Chronosphere down, and they don't kill this Spectre. Spectre continues to survive, and the mid tower takes a lot of damage. Although Axe does die up top during a dive, didn't quite catch that Jesse has to decide which spells he wants to give GH. The tower, the deny, it's coming, and GH will get it. Mind control, bottle a region, and go back to farming. Unfortunately for Ace, it's very low HP, and he has not gotten another salve. That blade mail is starting to come out, and there's the salve from Pylai in the form of the Sunray. Suddenly all those complaints are for naught. Weehaw, unfortunately, you know, switch over to the net worth here. He's doing just fine, but he's forced to stay in this top lane because of Jibe on this Venomancer. Weehaw cannot leave, or he will lose a tower. Because Weehaw, actually, they are setting up for a gank onto him, trying to run up into the trees. Taking a while to do so, and now actually going to get blocked off. Chessie's here, gets the silence. The Invis is there, but it won't be enough. Our men now leading back in. He will get the Maledict onto the Axe. Axe could go down. And the Death Ward comes out. Jibe actually takes a lot of damage with the stick. He'll be able to survive. No! Miracle gets the kill onto him. In exchange, though, they will lose RMN. Pylai die. I think he's likely to fall as well. He does manage to dive out, but he's slowed down by Miracle. He is very slow indeed. The Sunray stolen by GH. And that's a good trade for Nigma. They get the kills that they need, I suppose. But at the same time, you know, it's too much on the side of 5 men. But a Chronosphere. This is the pause for Misery Axe, so honestly, you're probably okay with that. It's a bit more of a significant shift than I would have thought. I think they're likely to try and take out this tier 1, but that is going to be a bold play, as Jibe will set up the wards. And this is exactly what Faceless Void does not want to play into. And the one advantage for 5 men here is that both Ace and Chessie have just been farming this whole time. Chessie has the travels going for the Blink Dagger, and Ace has the completed Blade Mail going for the Manta. There's Jibe also. He's got his Spirit Vessel completed. Sanjin Yasha coming out for a Miracle. Understandable. A lot of CC that you don't want to deal with. But look at this. A very good ultimate from Chessie to start up. The silence is there as well. And they are not going to be able to get out Miracle. As long as Ace survives, this should be a good fight. But the Blink RP, the Skewer back is there. Ace is going to go down. I do believe indeed he will. A very fast set of kills. Still probably going to work out ultimately in favor of the Radiant, as it was Ace to get the kill initially. But actually, if they lose a mid-tower, it's probably not going to be worth it, and it does look like that is what is going to happen here. Chessie completes the Blink Dagger, though. That initiation is there. Miracle, though, he's taking quite a bit of damage with that Spirit Vessel, and the slow ticking. I wonder if it's going to be enough to threaten lethal damage, not with the Time Lock. Axe will fall as well. They get the tower, but look at this. Puck is going in. Puck with the coil, with the silence, will rapidly take out the Faceless Void of Miracle. He will fall. He is no longer a factor in this fight if they choose to continue it, but I don't think we're going to see too much more out of it at this stage. As Spectre is just farming up in the mid lane without Haunt, so I don't really have a whole lot more gas in the tank after those ultimates.
Radiant have fortified their structures against attack.
Chessie, though, he might be in a little bit of trouble as he goes down south. Mind control in the area, but doesn't have the blink off cooldown. Chessie will escape. Going next for that Yule Scepter. Chessie's been playing a really solid game, and that is reflected in his net worth as he is now top. Above even the Miracle. Faceless Void, who does have an Empower as well, something you must remember. He has another method of gathering farm with that empower. So even more impressive as he now outstrips the puck. Spectre very close behind as well, going for this early style of fighting build that we see more from Spectre. Less about the Radiant's unkillable late game. Still unkillable late game, but this time with Mantas and other such items. And look at that, Jibbe immediately pings the ward. The stolen plague wards are good, but I don't think they're worth your life. Especially when you consider that you lose those wards when you die. But GH is doing an excellent job of surviving. Will get hit by the Meteor Hammer, and the deny from Weehaw. This is starting to turn into a fight as he gets the Tornado onto Jibbe, but Jibbe instead decides to just go in himself. We will be forced to back off with the pressure from the Illusory Orb. But it's not going to matter, as there's not going to be another kill setup. But now Misery, the next target, the RP is there. And Misery's tanky, but not that tanky. As Ace actually coming in. They're going to try and force the TP of Mind Control, but the dunk is there. Suddenly this is looking very good for 5 men as RMN may get caught out. There is a Chronosphere available, and the blink back from Puck will be there. Miracle will not be able to find that Chronosphere just yet. As what looks a little dangerous ultimately turns into a kill for the side of 5 men. You have to commit quite a bit. Spectre Haunt, the big part of that, but still, you're probably pretty happy with that. Oh, and a Ring of Aquila is found by Pylai Dai. So despite the kill lead for Nigma, a very slight net worth lead for 5 men will now allow this tower to drop. But Weehaw, he's invisible. It is a Ghost Walk. Misery. He has armor, but I don't think that's really going to matter for you. The Blade Mail is pretty good, though. And actually, Weehaw might have pushed his luck a little bit too much. To get slowed down, the TP's there, and there is no cancel. So he will be just fine. That is the one downside of this 5-man lineup, is their only stun is Axe Call. And I suppose Coil. And I do think they have a net as well on Venom. So they do have a couple of avenues, but nothing incredible. You know, there's no bash, there's no paralyzing cask. Which, by the way, why is it called a paralyzing cask? I guess a stun is like a paralyzed. Never mind. As GH steals the sneeze and drops down, and now there is an ultimate from Pylai Dai, but it will not be enough as Chessie does manage to get the blink away. Trading a 4 for a 5, not awful. I mean, you feel bad whenever you die with Supernova, but ultimately it's not the end of the world, as Ace is doing a great job of just keeping up with this Void, only 1,000 net worth behind. And I have to emphasize once again, the fact that this Void has the Empower to aid in his farming is a big deal. And look at this vision from the dark side too, completely dedicated to stopping the Spectre from farming in the jungle. And as soon as Ace shows, they immediately start to go on him, and this could be very dangerous for him indeed. He doesn't have any way to get out. Ace is walking away. He doesn't see Weehaw, who is, of course, under the effect of that Ghost Walk, just perfectly edging out that range. But surely Ace has a feeling that something has gone awry, as no one is showing on the map. Never mind. Wait, hold on. Yeah, he actually saw the rotation. Disregard with that ward. For some reason, I can't press Shift F2, but I can press Shift F3. If we have an initiation, it's not going to matter. Invoker gets caught in the silence, but I don't even think they know he's there. RMN is going to try and get a turnaround, and it is actually doing pretty good damage. RMN will fall, no deny this time, in exchange for Jibbe, which isn't the best trade. And with that, Miracle has completed a Shadow Blade. Able to get on top of people pretty easily. Misery, though, he is right next to a sentry, and he will actually see this. Will he go for a call play? Not just yet. As the Shadow Blade fades, Weehaw will TP in, but I don't think it's going to result in anything. In fact, if it does, it would probably be a successful Radiant fight. Axe leaves the area. Manta completed for Spectre, going straight into that Eye of Scotty. Such an incredible Spectre item. Ace is having a just fine game, But slowly, Miracle's starting to pace up a bit and get a little bit out of range of the Spectre in terms of the net worth. Look, we have a smoke here too from Nigma. They'll catch out Chessie, but he was already on the path out. So he will pop that smoke. It looks like they're trying to do something up here, but unfortunately for them, Pilot Eye has already left the area. They will get nothing out of this smoke. Such a beautiful play by Chessie. I think I might have said Jibe. I did in fact mean Chessie. Pops that smoke and gets the heck out of there. No, they found the stack too. Misery, he might, be in position 4, but with the blade mail, with the spins, he'll be able to take this. As these lanes are being pushed out quite effectively by 5 men here. Miracle, he wants to farm the stack, but little does he know it's already gone. Shadowbladed up, trying to look for something here. He may find Chessie, who sits invisible due to a rune, but was spotted under a sentry. However, they will not find anything once again, and this whole time Miracle's not hitting creeps, which is helping Spectre catch up a little bit each time. 2 Glimmer Capes out for the side of Nigma. We go ahead and take a look at the items. Apologies. My Discord overlay just popped up. And we will see 2 Blade Mills. But look at this, 2 Glimmer Capes. So ultimately, very defensive builds from Nigma. Look at this positioning too. As they're not in Roche, unfortunately. There's smoke in the jungle. Both teams not quite connecting on these ganks. And now, will we see the trade as old as time? Roshan for a tier 2. There's no longer any way to check for it since the Sunstrike is no longer available. And with that, Sunstrike will finally come out, but it's a little bit too late as Ace will acquire this Aegis almost certainly. Sorry though, they're making a good play. They will catch out Misery here. They won't be able to get the kill onto him, I don't think. Although Miracle will drop the Chronosphere for him and Jibe, which is a little bit surprising. Mind Control will get the pushback onto the Phoenix. So they do manage to take out the off lane and the position 4, so not an awful fight for them. However, Ace is probably pretty happy with that since he got out with the Aegis, as long as he doesn't get a little too aggressive and drop here. Wait! What?! What?! Ace forgot to pick up the Aegis! Never mind! I don't know if he just decided it was too dangerous? I don't know what just happened. What an Aegis snatch! And that's the kind of mistake that you can't be seeing right now if you're on the side of 5 minutes. This is such a crucial moment. As now Miracle has 2 lives. Dota TV chat going off, but they're not quite wrong. This Misery, he'll be gone on though. He does have that Blade Mail, so Miracle will take a lot of damage, but of course he doesn't care. The Haunt though also coming in. Jibe in a lot of trouble. A nice coil into silence in onto the Faceless Void. He will Shadow Blade out, and invisibility sometimes is that invincibility. Fuels to stop the full pullback from Mind Control. Mind Control does hit an RP, but look at that. Phoenix is there, ready to slow them down with the egg, and they'll lose Mind Control. And next up on the docket, likely to be Rubik, unless they have to turn around, which it looks like they may. Ace wants to stay, but also not entirely sure. Weehaw, though, will fall. The Aegis, though, still available, but a very good fight, as Chessie hunts for more, will not find anything. Oh man, if 5 men lose this game, there's no way for me to leave this chat. There is not, as Miracle is forced to jump away, and this Sunray from GH is doing work. Yeah, 5 men lose. That's a crippling mental blow. And that's one for the highlight reel, guys. I can't believe that, man. Anyways, moving on. The Aegis will be reclaimed in about 2 minutes here. 2.5, it looks like. Ace farming up, almost completed that Scotty. And despite the Faceless Void's lead, you can see the rest of Dire falling behind Ace and Chessie. They're going to have a real rough time. Man, I need to find a way to turn off this Dota TV chat. I will look into that for the next game. It's very distracting having people pop up talking. That's A-okay. Twilight Eye, going for the Aeon Disc. Bit of an interesting choice. I suppose there's nothing really wrong with it. It actually has to be a bit careful. Reveal some stuff and could have gone on there. Manages to get out unscathed. You know, Chessie's pushing bottom. Has the Yules and an Aeon Disc of his own completed, so it looks like Five Men's idea of winning this game is if we all have Aeon Discs, the Chrono won't matter as Jive also building one. Alright! This is certainly a Faceless Void counter, make it impossible for him to go on anyone. Axe, I think the only one not going for it, going for a Yule Scepter instead. And obviously the Spectre, but if your Spectre starts going Aeon Disc, the game might be over. So Tier 1 will finally, looks like succumb to the push of Radiant here. 5 men with the second creep wave and Axe cutting the wave. Surely there's no hope for Spot. Never mind, Axe doesn't cut the wave. Will they get it in time? The creep wave's coming to stop them. And actually a Fortify will come out meanwhile, though. More importantly, this Nigma classic move to take control of the triangle. Going to try and get onto Chessie, but that is a hard target to get on top of. Especially when you consider that he's unchronoable. It's Aeon Disc. I mean, obviously it's a good build, right? It's a good count. It stops you from getting chronoed and killed. It is just a bit funny to see 3 heroes on 5 men going for it. Aegis now will expire. That snatched Aegis not going to be used for anything. As for a second I thought I was on Jive going for that Satanic, but no, that is the Faceless Void. Not too surprising. The Mask of Madness that he once had disassembled out to go into this Satanic, and then wrapping it up with an MKB. That'll be him pretty much, actually only 5 slotted at that point, but look at this Mind Control. So Jibe, level 16, goes for the Poison Sting Slow over the Gale summons 2 wards. It's pretty uncommon, but I guess the slow is 25%, so it's not bad. As look at this, Miracle's actually getting gone on. He's forced to back out, so is Mind Control. But meanwhile, up top, RMN has to be very careful. The call does come through onto him, and now an excellent coil. They'll take out RMN, but the coil is stolen by Rubik. So Radiant have to be very careful, and in fact, the coil will come straight out onto Chessie. But Faceless Void is in the air. Weehaw tries to go for a lift, but it's not going to be enough. And actually, the dunk not quite there. Weehaw will fall, and that is a big Cataclysm if it connects, but it will not. And look at this whole time, Miracle backing off, trying to get healed up, but Miracle does an excellent job of not quite getting gone on yet. I was going to say of dodging out, but Chessie was forced into that phase shift. Misery, though, an excellent call. And Miracle, you've got to be careful, man. That's an axe. You don't want to fight in that. The Chrono comes down, but he's just fallen, and the Depth Ward is inside of the Chrono, so it's not doing any damage. RMN, he will go down as well. Mind Control trying to get out. Looks like he will be able to, but with that, 5 men are in a astounding position to take a significant lead into this game. There's no buyback on Void. There's no buyback on Witchstalker. Even if there are, there's no Chrono. The only thing they have to fear is the RP. As, how is Coil back off cooldown? This ability is a wicked short cooldown, 60 seconds. The Stolen Coil will be pretty good, and Mind Control will force the snap. There's no Aegis on Spectre or anything, so this is dangerous. The RP will come out as well, but now it's Ace's turn. He's weak. He's actually being forced to Force Staff out, and he will fall. An excellent play from the Radiant to get a couple of kills here, but now they have to be careful. Now they've taken a lot of damage. The deny, will it come out? No, they'll just... GH will just hurt him and then let Jibe finish him off. But Nigma will importantly hold the lane of Rex and take out the Spectre there. Two very, very important outcomes of that hold. And that is just so unfortunate. Roshan may spawn in 15 seconds, and if it's an instant spawn, you're going to feel really bad on the side of 5-man. You already threw away one Aegis. You're hoping not to throw away another. Find out any moment here. And it will be a relatively short spawn, 40 seconds. But look at this. Weehaw has found Pylai Die. Pylai Die, I don't think there's any hope. He will actually pop the egg, and a call from Misery. This may turn into a pretty good kill here. GH will fall, get dunked, and they also, importantly, get the stun onto the Miracle's Faceless Void. And then he also gets hit with the Meteor Hammer. He's taking a lot of damage with the Satanics there. Now he's back up to full HP. Pylai Die, the next to fall. RMN will drop that beat. But the Haunt in from Spectre, not going to be enough to take out Weehaw. Weehaw does manage to injure out this fight. A little bit spread, but they find Miracle. Will they be able to get a bash onto him? We'll have to wait and see. Chessie is in a pretty okay position, but the slow is there. There's no real way to interrupt. The root doesn't come out in time from that clumsy net, and now it's Weehaw, the only one to fall here, I do believe, as he desperately tries to get out. But this is still important for the side of 5-men, because this is another Aegis. We'll see if they will move into that pit. It is the wise decision. There is an Invoker buyback. Will they give another free Aegis to Miracle? Or will they take that Roche for themselves this time? Looks like they will do neither. As they're not confident enough to go into the pit. Perhaps not entirely sure if it's up just yet. There is still an RP and a Chronosphere to play with, so you have to be cautious of that. Miracle. He has a Satanic. Going for the MKB, but he still feels very vulnerable. As long as the side of 5-man can prevent him from getting off those big Satanic bashes, then they'll be pretty okay. As let's take a look. Alright, Venomancer went for, it looks like an Aghanims instead of the Aeon Disc, but Chessie has his, Pylai Die has his, so they'll be pretty safe. Now, will they just try and farm Roche with Jibe's wards? We'll have to wait and see. Doesn't look like it at the moment. Both teams position around this Roche. Jibe. Oh no. Pops the ultimate by accident. Now, as long as the fight doesn't break out for a minute, gonna be okay. But I have to wonder, are their nerves getting to 5-men in this game? Or something, because first the Aegis, then I guess that's just a misclick. But still, you know how it feels. It's actually up top. Oh, what a blink from Misery off of his own use. He's gonna TP out. He's actually going to get out. The tornado misses. What a play. With that, that should be